create these very, how to say it, elaborate videos of moving around, 3D view of, like getting almost being able to feel this object. And this gave us then, apart from the features for the buyer flow and knowing that it needs to be more hybrid product, then when we were creating the seller flow, we knew what things to provide for the sellers to provide us information in order to sell their product better, right? And when we started testing with the sellers, they were like, oh my God, finally somebody understands what it's like to try to sell something online, right? And I can find that quote because I'm absolutely sure that there was that there. And the whole idea is that running experiments without first understanding the customers is like shooting blind. Like you have like your blindfold and you're like, oh, where's the target? I don't know, go. And you just you say over here, yes or no, and you might receive a false positive or a false negative, like an unreal no or an unreal yes, but not even realize that what you have to hit is actually somewhere over here where you haven't even explored yet. So generative research and this type of asking questions is useful for exactly this case. Okay? How much time do I have? Oh, nice, pretty good. Oh, we might have time for exercises too. Okay, so what makes the arrows fly on target? And how do we learn really what matters to customers from the start? And like asking them, of course. So we can, this methodology is called customer development. It was coined during the beginning of the startup world, but realistically it's taken from ethnographic research. And okay, that's enough about it. I don't need to say more. But like, we'll focus on getting the facts about users, and because hard facts are like landmarks, like knowing like the physical product is a priority, like this is a landmark, and then you can build everything around it. You know where you are, so you know, and you can decide where you want to go. And then you have to ask actionable questions, and we're going to go through this together right now. Like, they give you facts that you can act on. And they also give you an understanding of the customer, like a very, very deep understanding with all the nuances that you're, managed to get, that allows you to respond with the right product. Okay, and there's these 3 very, very simple rules when you formulate a question like that. And they are past, so you ask something about the person's past, because like nobody can predict the future. What are you going to do tomorrow? What are you planning to do a year from now? People will say, but you don't know if they'll really do it. You're going to find out the hard way, right? You ask about facts, because like opinions change. They might think that right now they will do this, and their opinion is about that, but maybe in 2 weeks it changes. So you ask about something they've actually done. And you have to be specific, because generalities like what would you do, or in general how this plays out, these things actually omit the actionable stuff. Because like you can still get a sense of like what's in general there, but once you start, getting your hands dirty, you don't have these pillars to work on, and you're still like, oh, should I do this or that? And you're again lost. And so when you keep in specifics, you have very well recorded specifics about like how something will look like. Okay, I can even write them down maybe. So past, fact, and specific. Okay, just a sec. I'll put them over here. Sorry, there's a lot of people.
Put them on the board, yeah.
Ah, yeah, thanks.
Just
Yeah, could you?
Yeah, for sure.
While I write.
Great. So I'm gonna take a picture of these?
Yeah, you can erase it.
Yeah.
And okay. And let's see what so again, and the other very, very important thing is to talk about their life. So the moment you put your idea in it, the conversation very quickly shifts from exploration to negotiation or sales. And in this case, you have either people will feel like they want to encourage you, so they're just gonna lie to you, or they're gonna want to imagine the best, case in which this will happen and it will support you, but this doesn't do you any good. Or they will feel like they're being sold to a bit or being negotiated about, and all of a sudden a lot of things will be off the table, like a lot of information, like nothing about like budgets or spendings they would do, nothing about decision-making process, just all of that. Because they don't trust you, they will feel that you have a alternative agenda. They're just not gonna feel comfortable saying, even if they want to, even if they know that you're not like a scammer or a sleazy person, they're just not gonna feel comfortable saying these things. It's like all of a sudden the context shifts in which they're in the role of being sold to, right? And again, like when we talk about ethnographic research and generative research, we look at observation and investigation. Okay, and you can start with like easy, how kind of the conversation can start. It can start with easy conversation starters, like for example, how this. I have a few. Again, it's important to talk about their life. And you can say like, hey, tell me about how you do blah, or tell me about how you have done these things before, or how is it going with, like, I don't know, you have, so for example, in the boson example that I gave you, tell me about how tell me about how you make decisions on buying a physical product on a digital. And you can of course have this is really important actually. If they're not interested about talking about this topic, this is also super valuable information. It means that it's just not important in their lives. And in this case you can ask, okay, am I talking to the right audience? Maybe this type of audience might not be the one that has the problem that I think there is, right? So this is also important. You can instead of wasting a bunch of time trying to fix it, like, oh, they don't care about it, that's great, so next idea, right? So, and so a little tip on credibility. Of course, you can say when on the part where they might not trust you or they feel that they're sold about, it's very easy just to say, hey, I'm trying to figure something out in this area, or I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a student, and I'm trying to understand how people do blah, or how, like, I'm trying to understand how different DAOs coordinate. I'm trying to understand how different permaculture communities exchange knowledge, like how different permaculture communities share responsibilities about things. And this is good enough, and at least gives the people the semi-scope in the conversation that you want to have. Okay? And of course, so you have the conversation starters and you have actionable questions. And we're going to, I wanted to do like a little, so this is a little exercise in order to see, to kind of assess what's a good question and what is a bad question. And I'm just going to, can I just take a few green ones? Because I want to give everybody an orange, just distribute around, take one orange and one yellow note, one orange and one green note. And I will be asking you, I'll show you a bunch of questions, and I'll ask you whether it's a good question or a bad question, based on these three things, past, facts, and specific. and then we're going to, kind of discuss. I can give you a few. Okay. Nice. I can give you some oranges here too.
There's some greens in there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some more greens. Yeah.
Let me just grab one for myself.
Yes. There
Thank you.
go. Distribute some more greens and oranges. And the case study is the following. So you are going to do research. So we are right now doing research on agriculture products like produce that are like regional or local and selling to local stores. And you're interviewing a supermarket manager. Okay? And let's see how it plays. Easing into it. Hey, how are you doing? Do you have a minute to help me? I'm a student researching how food retailers introduce new products. Right? So this is easy enough, general enough to like be able to explore different, different paths with it, but gives it enough credibility to want to talk to you. Okay, so is it good or bad question? Can you tell me about the last time you introduced a new product? Where did it start? So is this a good question or a bad question? Just pick green, okay. How many greens do you, okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it is a good question because it's both past, fact, and specific. And the answer, we hear about new products from head office. We usually get around two or three per month. We usually get around 2 or 3 months notice before we start selling them. Okay, perfect. Does this happen frequently? Nice. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Why do you think it's good?
Just because it's factual, it's something you probably want to know, and you can definitely answer it. I mean, you would know whether or not it happened frequently.
Okay, actionable, specific. Why the ones that gave us the orange? Why do you think it's not a good question?
It's
what it was.
Yeah.
It okay.
It's an opinion.
Opinion.
Or you get the number and then you don't know what to do with the number because like how frequent then it's like twice a week and what.
But does this happen frequently?
Yeah, for me it's not frequently in where.
What is frequently?
Yeah, what is
Yeah?
frequently?
Opinion
Yeah,
on
that's
what
it.
is frequently.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, and they're like not really, right? Like stuck. Okay. The thing is, it's also does this happen frequently? It's not in the past.
Also, it's a yes or no question. It's not an open.
This is still okay. In some moments you can, so you open with an open-ended, but sometimes if you want to investigate something more specific and just to confirm if you have understood correctly, it's okay to close the question. But yes, you're right that in like mostly you have to keep them as open as possible in order to allow for more information to come.
Maybe something part of this like it could be yes or no, but then like whatever you receive, you ask why. It's like kind of like a secondary layer, or like why do you think this way, or like why it's no, and then you get way more information.
Yeah. And in this case, it's a little bit early to ask a closed-ended question. Literally, your second question, yes, no, well, okay. So yeah, what are the 3 rules? And when does this pop up? Let's say like we're trying to fix the question. When does this pop up? What do you think? Is it a good question or a bad question? Okay. Orange. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, it is. Like not too often. It's not specific. You can say when does this pop up, but it's still not in the past. It's still a little bit, something's wrong with it. It's not specific enough. When was the last time this went off track? Good question, bad question?
Good question.
Okay. Okay. Why do the ones that picked orange? Why do you feel? I can see a few people. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's specific because it asks about something in the past,
Mhm.
but it doesn't define went off track would actually mean in the context of
Uh-huh.
our client, the grocery store.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. The other. Others. That pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought something similar, like when this is, last time this one was off track, like, it's a bit funny the way it's phrased, but I think it's good because it is in the past and you're asking about a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, I would say, or maybe it's just like the particular language
Yeah.
doesn't like sit right with me, but like, yeah, it would be more specific around like what this is and maybe what does going off track mean, like what is the kind of failure that we're looking at.
Okay. Yeah. So imagine they had some problem with the. Yeah. Okay.
It's a good prompting question because it's something what like you prompt them to tell you the story.
Mm.
And say, okay, when was it? And then what happened? Instead of
Exactly.
asking straight away what happened. Just like kind of make it software.
Yeah, yeah. So in this case, it's again like a little bit of a
Yeah,
conversation
introduction.
starter question. Yeah, before you start investigating. Yeah, and when we've asked them, in this case, let's say they've said something went off track, and we're like, when's the last time this happened? One of our customers wanted to visit a visit to the farmer, but couldn't locate them, and we also weren't able to help them either because we didn't know the location of the farm. Right? And okay, so how do you deal with this problem? Is it good, bad, okay, awesome, awesome? Why do you think it's good? Why do you think it's good?
Oh, I think it's in the past, it's specific enough,
Mm-hmm.
and you could get some good insights from
Yeah.
Okay.
how we have done it.
And maybe how he deals with the market. So what is his experience in dealing with the problem, and maybe could get you good insights on what his perspectives are.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
switched from green to orange when I read this. How do you, not how did you?
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
think that made it better.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't. It's not specific enough again.
Okay.
Like how do you deal in general? How do you deal with this problem? Well, we can't really deal with this problem, right? How did you deal with this problem last time when it happened? Good, bad?
But
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay. I requested some farmer information from our distributors and started a little binder. Now, we're learning, right? Knowing what they tried tells us how they see the problem, how they have attempted to fix it, and also indicates that it's important enough to deal with the problem. Because sometimes people like complaining, say, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, but realistically, if they haven't done anything about it, means that it's not either not painful enough or they don't care about it enough. It's not in their priority, or maybe they don't have budget for it. Yeah, so if you find a solution and create a solution, it might not take off because it's not a priority. Okay? Can you show me how you did it? Is this a good question or a bad question? Okay. Okay. Why do you feel it's bad question?
I don't know if it's specific enough or.
Okay. Can you show me how you did it? Okay. And what do you guys, the green ones, whoever wants to share, why do you feel it's a good one?
Just feels like it leads to some insights. I guess that's what we're trying to build, right? Maybe.
Yeah. So in terms of framing, it doesn't really fit the framing, but show me is gold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they're able to show you, then you can, like, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? And you can see so many things of like what they have done that you can take as information and then implement in your product, right? So even when I do research, the moment people say, wait, let me show you my dashboard, I'm like
Yes.
cheering inside, like, yes, please, like I'm going to extend the interview and can stay with you another half an hour, as much as you want, like show me everything, right? And these are great. And it's like for the binder, show me the binder. Here it is. You can see I visited some of the farms myself and took some pictures, right? It was such an important problem for them that he even went to visit the farms. He even took pictures, right? So this is a super strong signal that if you do something in that realm, people and other supermarkets could adopt it. All right, and yeah, so yeah, showing is always better than telling, because in this case you switch to observation. It's not only investigating, but you can observe and you can sit and take in. Yeah?
Can I,
Yep.
just curious question, maybe there is
Yep.
no answer, but if you are seeing some trends and, but there isn't really a demand or that, and that's why they have not yet attempted to solve it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just keep put until that happens and before you just really don't develop because it's going to be very hard? Or do you have also in that space where you see a trend already culminating, do you have some specifics where you can still maybe initiate that?
Yeah, so this is a really good question. Thanks. So it really depends on the thing you're researching, but it is good to map out as many needs as possible. And at least one, like let's say you have found, and I'll talk through signals because I have a little bit more time, but you have found about 10 needs, and out of 10, maybe 8 they haven't done anything about. Now you know that you can focus on these 2 that they have. So it really depends, and it's if really they haven't done anything about it, and literally nobody out of 10 people has done anything, then it might not be the right problem, or maybe it not be the right audience. Then you have to like take a step back and assess, maybe I should check over here, maybe if so you can really, yeah, it's just good to reflect on these things and revisit your questions. Okay. Why did you? Yeah, I guess like so far I can see that you were like getting the questions really well, and I really want to share you also the signals on how to listen. So, why did you go to the farm? Why shows motivation? It's also a very good one. And I'm gonna skip. Yeah, just one. How much would you pay for a solution to know all that information? Is it the, oh fuck, yeah, sorry. Oh, I'm tired. Okay, it's a bad question. Why? Because it's it's a hypothetical, it's an opinion. Would you? But the other thing is that at this moment they can sniff that you're negotiating. How would you fix it? How would you, if you want to understand, like if they're gonna buy it? If you use these questions, like what question would you create in order to find this information? Because it is important. You need to know how to price it, like whether people will pay for it at all.
Like you could probably ask by saying, to deal with this problem the previous time, how much have you spent?
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. This is exactly. I think we even. How much did it cost you, and how much does this cost you? And yeah, last time, how much did you spend? Like, yeah, I have like 5 subscriptions for 5 different, tools that are semi-okay, and I pay on like these 5 subscriptions are like $10 a month each, but I keep them all because each of them fixes partial thing that I need, right? And this is a really good question. You already now have first you know that they have paid for something, and second like a more or less an approximate budget of what it costs them. But also it helps you sell it, because you can say people spend this much money already on this problem, and mine costs only this much, right? And like, no brainer, I'm gonna pick you.
Mhm.
As long as, of course, as you fix fully their problems, and you're not one of those that's half-ass problem solved, right? Because like, then you're part of the tiny budget, right? Okay. So so how many times? Oh, 3 minutes. Okay, a really quick one, because it's important to also know how to listen. Right now we've exercised on how to ask questions, and I can see that you guys have gotten it, and I feel you feel confident already about formulating them. But the thing is, what kind of things we can listen for when people are talking. And there, again, very 3 simple signals. We have obstacles, we have goals, and we have actions. Yeah, take a picture. Obstacles are problems or frictions that indicate areas where we can help, like pain points. Very often you hear pain points, right? So I was taking a bus, but I couldn't find, I couldn't get to the cashier desk was closed, and I couldn't buy something online because I didn't know the website, right? This is an obstacle. The other thing is a goal. It can be a motivation or something they're trying to achieve, right? It tells us where we fit in the bigger picture, because we can also see in which direction they're trying to go. Only knowing the problem, yeah, okay, but the problem is there, but where do they need to get, this is the blocker, the problem, but where was the direction they were trying to get to, right? And actions, they give us a sense of that's painful enough and important enough for them to actually do something. And then this is an indication for adoption. So obstacles, goals, and actions. And while you're talking to these people and asking these questions and taking notes, it's super useful just to put a little OGA or some kind of symbol that is easy for you as you ask, take notes on this. And then afterwards, you can put all your notes, look at them, and start creating clusters around goals, themes around where these things fit. And yeah, I'll just share you one more really quick advice here. Is a very easy, how to say it, you've hit the bullseye is when you find within the same realm a goal, an obstacle, and an action. Mm-hmm. Right? And this is where it's ding, 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 ding. This is the place we wanna. If it's just an obstacle and a goal, not action yet, maybe we should investigate a little bit more, maybe we should shift a little bit, maybe we should understand the need better. Where are they actually taking actions? But if you have all 3, you can be confident that you can start then prototyping and going towards some kind of solutions. Yeah.
Can you give an example of an obstacle, goal, and action within a specific realm? Say the fruit shop that we had before or something.
Okay. Yeah. So for an obstacle was, for example, when some customers wanted to understand where there was a location, but for some reason the store didn't keep locations of their farmers, so they didn't get to that information. A goal was to, in this case, the assumption is if the conversation has continued, the goal is to serve the customers well, because if the store is organized, if the store is aiming to kind of differentiate itself by saying we're only selling local produce for sustainability or for quality of food and things like that, and they want to serve their clients, the goal is to be, how to say it, be what was the word, credible enough to prove that it's actually locally produced, right? And that was the goal, to like have this brand and prove the brand. And the action was the guy actually going to, when they had this problem, he actually went and created this binder by going to all the farms, and like next time somebody asks, because obviously part of the marketing strategy is we are locally sourced, and people ask because they care about it, because they are solving a realistic problem of people caring about what they eat. Now they have the solution of, here's the binder, we can show you all of the farms we work with directly. Yeah. Does this help you? Okay. All right. Any other questions before we?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Actually,
If there's any other questions, I am sure that Andre will be okay giving me a couple minutes. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yes, please, Andre, he's gonna take over now with,
So
yeah.
we have like a 5-minute break if anyone wants to drink something, because there's a refill here,
Sure.
just to rehydrate,
Yeah.
and then we'll have.
And just this, I think everybody's gonna stick around because it's part 2, but still, we're gonna have DAO's 2.0 overcoming challenges and the DAO Renaissance at main stage, and at Fishbowl we're having,
Otherwise, it's still.
let me check,
It will be a bit less.
Future of DAOs. If anyone's interested, or you can just stick around for part 2 of building
A bit less
one.
conversational,
That's
comparing
it.
to like the store manager. In this case, actually, if you're building an app that will sell
Right now,
you
future of
sell to
DAO.
the business, it's still a bit big, right? So it really depends
What?
who your customers. Like
Yeah,
if it's, for example, you're talking
It
to
started at the same time as this.
like a
Yeah.
huge corporation, you still need to approach it in a little bit more businessy way.
Yeah,
But
maybe it
still,
started a bit late as we did, but
still
it probably
care,
started
like,
around like.
in this case, it would be around
this
the
time.
work
So
we
it's
are
probably,
or the
if it's not
things that
finished, they're probably
achieve
wrapping up, so
in
the other one
realm
can
of
see.
their work.
So
Yeah.
say for us, we'll be selling
Yeah.
like this like fractional finance team service, and this is
Yeah.
we're starting to do market research about that now,
Yeah.
and it would be we're targeting teams that have raised like a certain amount of money and haven't got any finance support.
Yeah.
It's hard because this thinking through what you're saying because they've not made any buying decisions. Can give them a free copy.
Yeah.
How do I pull out a design or something like that?
I was just going to say definitely.
And then it's like
Yeah. So because they haven't done any actions yet because it's too early.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes
You
total
can
sense.
still,
Yeah.
in this case,
Can you send me a link to the book or
just
something?
ask them about
or whatever.
the way they're thinking about things right now,
Exactly, and then I'll do
and have it as a grain of salt with all these things we share. And in this case, maybe it will be useful to have a little bit, it's not to do 5 interviews and stuff, but maybe to keep
So,
keep communication with the same teams over time, see what is changing.
I'd say like 2
Right,
minutes or
like
so.
what kind of things have shifted of the things they expected and things that have actually happened, and because it's like, it feels like a shifting, yeah. So can you tell me again, it's like fractional finance?
So it's basically
Yeah.
we come in when orgs get a certain size and they're like we could hire a CFO, or you can go to us and you get a team of 4 people that do all of the CFO stuff. But you get 4 people instead of 1, and it's cheaper. So it's like, we find this like trying to defend when you look at once someone's got like an in-house finance person, like they're not gonna.
Yeah, they're not going to need
But
you.
then it goes to be too small, so it's like kind of finding a sweet spot of when's the right time to engage.
10,
Okay, yeah, so in this case you can see,
some, like a little book.
you can be asking about how they're thinking
mind,
about their spending,
passing
about
this-
counting.
These two on to the people behind me. Great. Or yeah.
You can see the
Yeah, also
budgets,
some,
right? Like how much they have in treasury and how available,
And some
and at
pens.
which point they are maybe. Because you can on the other hand see how much an in-house CFO would cost, and compare that to where they are right now with their current their current budget structuring. The other thing is it will be good to map out their Like if they're fundraising, if they're like if they're focusing on prioritizing getting money from someone, or they're gonna focus on organic growth.
So what's your crypto projects that you're working on?
Sorry?
What's your crypto projects you're working on?
I don't actually, I'm just getting into it. Yeah, completely new at this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Volunteering for the first event too?
Yeah.
That's a way to do it right there.
Yeah, you know? No, I thought that would be a nice way to get started and get to know like amazing people and learn a few different things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also I'm really on the low budget. So.
How you finding it?
Actually, you know, Davi who spoke yesterday at the main stage.
Yeah.
So he recommended it to me.
Like, for example, we're never gonna have
It's gonna be a
deeper
super
conversations
opportunity. I think you should come. And I was
We're
like,
never gonna have
I'll find a way to go. You know,
CFO.
that's it. I'm actually
Right, like,
backpacking.
never-
It's probably gonna be
Never,
so I've been
but
in Europe
it's
for a
not
month now.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it depends.
Moved on to
Colin's
the-
kind of the financial advisor in terms of like
Yeah.
what kind of
For how long?
resource allocation
Until
set up.
December.
Okay.
Yeah, so more or less.
I
5
mean,
months.
he's
Wow.
probably the closest
Yeah.
to
To
his
here.
proper CFO.
No,
Yeah.
so
Charlie was doing more like
I was in Spain. And then
accounting
I took a
and-
plane to
mostly kind
Zagreb,
of accounting
and then a bus down here to Tula, and then I'm gonna stay
We don't
till the
need that
weekend,
because
then
the entities in
visit a
BVI
couple more
and
places
doesn't
here
need
in Croatia,
So-
and then move back to Italy.
Okay.
It's not,
Spend
yeah,
more
maybe
weeks
everything else is
there,
automated.
then Greece, and just like keep
crypto
going.
platforms.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a place that you call home or
So
no?
that's the thing, like,
Yeah.
also we found a certain size.
I have to go back by December.
Got a million
Okay.
transactions
Yeah, I have
a year.
to, you know, Christmas and New Year's with family and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay,
we're
let's
good.
start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going to keep track of time here. I'm going to sit here.
I'm gonna stand over.
You're gonna stand? Okay, then I'm gonna sit here and if you
And
need
then the
a
ethos
time or something.
organization of the legal structure that they
Yeah.
have set up. Because
40
from
minutes.
legal structures,
Yeah.
you can also see that they're a little bit more permanent.
So whenever you want.
Yeah, right.
So
So I'll start with this workshop. It's going to be very, very hands-on. So
Yeah, more hands-on.
just as a brief primer, now you kind of have the basics for user research and more or less understand how to gather information. The workshop that I'll start with now is more focused on how do we actually come together and align on what to do with that information. So you might, experience having conversations with people and then you have an idea and then you want to do stuff. But this is really about like how to actually create an organization together, how to align on something together that will produce value, that you all are interested in, how to figure out what you're individually good at without having to talk to every single person in the room. And so this is not really like a presentation or anything, but I have a few slides to show you some cool things that I sketched out. So this is really the best practices of coordination. They're used in Google, Apple, and all of the Silicon Valley companies. They're not really publicized because there's no interest in sharing that information to open source teams or open source collectives, but I've worked in there and I know these principles and I enjoy working in open organizations because there's a lot more flexibility. We all know that innovation is generally kind of a messy thing. That's my artwork. Regardless of what you do, so you always kind of explore and then at some point you'll aggregate around some kind of idea or something that really produces value. But the process around that is actually very, very simple. You're here right now, so you had this says research, the gray box, and you're currently around here where you kind of know what's going on, you have some ideas around things that can be improved in the world, you have had conversations with people that want to do cool stuff or that need help, but now you're almost like you need to coordinate, you need to figure out like how to find the right people, how to work with them together, how to align on what is the right thing to build, and then actually do the work and then learn from that. The learning is also kind of part of the research, so in a sense, that's the cycle that will lead you through this chaos where you'll have to adjust up and down, left and right, until you slowly gravitate towards something that actually creates value, and then you have a conversation about what is the fairest value exchange. I can talk about that in more detail, but today is focused really on this coordination piece. And it's very, very simple, so it's going to be very hands-on. This is actually it, I think. What we'll figure out today is what problem do we want to solve together? And this is all of us. What's the best solution? And who does what. And that's essentially the only three things that you need to know in order to start something, do the work, and then evaluate the results and do them. So I shared with you a couple of these orange Post-its. I hope all of you have them. If you're missing some, there's more here. Those are pens. So over the course of the next half hour or so, we will, in small segments, go through a series of exercises to actually answer all these questions. Most likely without any discussion. And that's why it's actually going to be almost like the speed, agility, and focus of finding the solution together, but at the speed of one person. So for the first 5 minutes, I'll ask you to just write down all individually for yourself what you think, and let's take as an example maybe this venue, so this event space. You all had conversations about this event already, I assume. You had maybe some ideas on how it could be improved. Maybe you spotted some things that could be better, that were friction points in your experience. So write down all the things that kind of stood out to you, or that you might have picked up on from other people's conversations. Hey, Grace. And in order to make it simpler for other people to read later, because once you've written out, we'll just stick it on the wall and then everybody can read through them. Don't worry about like who it's from, nobody will recognize the handwriting. But in order to make it easier for other people to read, make sure that it's definitely readable. So don't just twiddle something, please. And you can use a format, like rewrite it already into the so-called like how might we format. Some of you might be familiar with it. But essentially, if you have an idea, for example, the food could be better. So rather than like just blurting out something that sucks, frame it as like a challenge that is already solvable. So something like, how might we improve the quality of the food? And for you, that's like a slight second of rethinking the problem into a different perspective. But for other people in the next stage, it's going to be almost like a prompt to find a really interesting or easy solution. Because the next stage will be, I'll give you different colored Post-its, it's going to be about finding solutions to all of these problems. And then we'll figure out what's the best solution, and then we'll figure out who wants to do what, and then we'll see if we will actually implement the solution. Last time I was doing this workshop in Barcelona, and we had, I think, a bit smaller group than here, and we picked up that there was a kind of a like communication was missing. It was difficult to make connections with people, and over the course of the workshop, the team figured out that something like a networking event would be great. And 2 hours later, they actually set up a networking event. 50 people showed up and said it was the best thing of the whole conference. So there's no pressure that you will actually have to do these things. But it's also not unlikely that it will happen, because it is very fun and it's very inspiring to kind of bounce these ideas and just read through them. So without further ado, I'll set a timer on 5 minutes and just write down as many how might we's, as many challenges that you can pick up on as you can. And once you have them, just stick them to the charging point, just here, because I think the wall is not really amazing for Post-its.
Can you say the prompt for anyone?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, cool.
Sorry that we can't like.
No, all good. So 5 minutes, write down as many things that you pick up on from MetaFest that could be improved, or from your experience in this event. It doesn't have to be particularly MetaFest, but like you had conversations with people, how it could be better, what would you like to see more of, and rewrite it into a how might we statement. So how might we improve the quality of the food or something, or how might we make coordination easier or something like that. Whatever fits right with you. You can also abbreviate the how might we into HMW. It also doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to make sense. It also sometimes helps just to write as much as you can even if it's something that's a stupid idea. Because in the end, again, nobody will care if it's a dumb idea. People will just gravitate towards the best things, and the chances that we'll find something higher quality is higher when there's a larger amount of ideas.
Great point.
2 minutes left.